Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. The Wall Street Journal finally reported on something that investors and lenders have known for more than 9 months. The rapid rise in interest rates has created a structural problem for commercial real estate. And the issue goes beyond the headline that nearly $1.5 trillion in commercial real estate debt is vulnerable to default in the next 3 years. The punchline of the article is that lenders are prone to foreclosing on these loans because of the issues with office occupancy that's not likely to be resolved anytime soon. Unfortunately, the simplified reporting completely neglects the fact that the lender is not some rich dude who can withstand the loss with no consequence to everyday citizens. The counterparty risk that was present in 2008 is still present today. It's different than it was in 2008, but it's still present. So why is that? Well, our banking system is a fractional reserve banking system. Institutions invest in commercial real estate, including insurance companies and pension funds. Do you think that if an insurance company experiences a loss in their loans, there could be a knock-on impact to everyday citizens? Well, we've already seen insurance companies experience massive losses across the United States resulting from major claims, and we've seen major increases in insurance premiums. Pension funds have traditionally invested in the largest and safest assets in real estate. These are the same pension funds that have experienced a major demographic shift in the past 20 years, with fewer people contributing to the funds and more people retiring. Outflows of cash are increasing while contributions are declining. These are the same pension funds that have experienced more than a decade of low-yield investments as a result of low interest rates. And these are the same pension funds that have invested in bonds that have seen bond values drop as interest rates have risen. And yes, these are the same pension funds that are about to experience losses in commercial real estate investments. When pension funds were launched in the middle of the 1900s, there were nearly 13 people in the workforce for every person collecting a pension. Today, that's been reduced to 3 people in the workforce contributing to the pensions for every person collecting a payment. These are not just statistics. I'm describing a house of cards where every single metric of importance to the future health of a pension fund is going against it. In any financial system, there has to be an escape valve. When things go wrong, there's a variable somewhere that's got to absorb the loss. It might be the taxpayer. It might be a fall in the value of the currency in the foreign exchange market. Maybe the loss will be absorbed in the form of money printing and inflation. Or maybe there will be some homeless senior citizens eating cat food because their pensions defaulted on their payment obligations. Now let's look at these office buildings that on average are experiencing 30% vacancy. How do you value those assets? Do you value them based on their current net operating income? What happens when the existing leases come due for renewal? Will the existing tenants reduce their lease space? Will the tenants demand rent concessions, which will further negatively impact revenue, net operating income, and ultimately the property value? Do you assume higher vacancy, maybe 40%? How about 50%? If the building owner offered you the building for free, would you take it? It's not obvious. All we can say is that the environment's changing, and no one can say with any degree of certainty what things will look like on the other side of what is virtually certain to occur. How will defaults in commercial real estate affect the banking system? U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is not the most politically astute bureaucrat. She occasionally speaks the truth and then rarely mentions it again. She was quoted recently as having said that we can expect to see more mergers in the banking system in the coming months. Well, in this environment, banks are not voluntarily merging. That's because they're going to be forced takeovers by the banking regulator. How will higher insurance premiums affect the expenses for commercial real estate? Will the resulting fall in value affect lending metrics for real estate of all types? And then we've got half of all baby boomers already of retirement age. The load on the entitlement programs is only going to increase at a time when investments in the pension funds are under extreme pressure. Now, it's not just office space. It was announced yesterday that the owner of the Hilton at Union Square in San Francisco just handed over the keys to the lender. This is a massive hotel and conference center, having nearly 3,000 rooms. The hotel and one other, called Park 55, was financed with $725 million in debt. Park Hotels is a large operator, and the rooms in San Francisco used to represent 16% of the company's hotel business prior to the pandemic. Since the pandemic, that has shrunk to less than 3% of their total business. They simply could not see their way clear to running a profitable business in San Francisco. This is a sign of more pain to come in the hotel sector. What will be the cascade effect of these types of failures? Where is the counterparty risk hidden beneath the surface? And why is it that the mainstream media is not even paying attention to this most obvious consequence? As you think about that, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.